Then the another important document, it is a bill of lading. So another important document, it is the bill of lading. So first document that we covered, it was bill of exchange. The other we covered is invoice, and the third one we are going to cover is the bill of lading. So bill of lading is basically a document which is signed by the shipper or seller or seller's agent. It is a document which is signed by the shipper or seller's agent and carrier, shipping or logistic company that details type, quantity and destination of goods being carried. Okay, so what happens actually, likewise if we take the case of person B over here, who is the beneficiary, and he has received the letter of credit advised by the advising bank. In that particular scenario, person B, if goes through the content of the letter of credit and finds each and everything very fine, in that case he needs to make the shipment over here, and he has shipped the goods. In that particular way, he will be getting the bill of lading if we have transmitted the goods by the C way, and in that particular purpose he'll be getting the bill of lading, and bill of lading will be signed by the shipping agent or the seller's agent. So whatever the seller agent is there who is dealing with the shipment of the goods, he will be signing this particular letter of a bill of lading, or further, or the carrier or the logistic company that details the type, that what type of goods are being carried or being shipped by them, and further the destination of the goods, each and everything related to the voyage of these particular goods would be mentioned in the bill of lading. So bill of lading is a document which is basically related to what? Which is related to the shipment, and each and every detail related to the shipment will be mentioned over therein. And further, the seller's shipping agent issues two sets of documents. So two sets of documents are issued. One, it is the original copy, which will be basically the negotiable bill of lading, that copy would be signed. And further, the other one would be the non-negotiable bill of lading. Now let us have a look at the functions of bill of lading. So now why bill of lading is being used? So first of all, it is a receipt related that the goods have been loaded. So it is basically an indicator, it is basically an evidence that the goods have been loaded. And further, it is evidence of contract, that the carriage between the shipper and the carrier. It is a evidence of the contract between the shipper and the carrier. So beneficiary, in case if he or she is dealing directly with the shipping agent, company, logistic company, in that case it will be signed by the seller, that is the beneficiary, and the logistic company. And if beneficiary has appointed some agent over here for the shipping purposes, in that particular case it will be signed by the seller's agent and the logistic company. Are you getting my point? So it is evidence of the contract between those two parties. And further, it is document of title to goods. So whatever person would be carrying those documents would be the owner of these goods. So that is basically the main criteria. Now the person beneficiary, the B person over here, has shipped the goods, and now he is with the bill of lading, that is negotiable, and he is to negotiate these particular documents so that he can get his money from the nominated bank. Okay, now let us have a look at the type of the bill of lading, and the questions can be asked from this particular point. In the previous two sessions also, the questions were asked from this particular point that was related to the type of bill of lading. So kindly please also concentrate on the theoretical part, that is also very much important. Let me tell you, 60% of the syllabus is 60% of the exam comes from the theoretical part only. So you must be concentrating on the numerical part also as well as on the theoretical part also. Okay. So first of all, it is on board bill of lading. It acknowledges that the goods have been put on board. Of the shipment. What does it mean? It means that the goods now have been loaded on the ship. And this is considered safe for negotiation purposes. It is considered to be safe. Otherwise, it is a clean bill of lading. So clean bill of lading bears no superimposed clause or notation that expressly declares the defective condition of the goods or packages. So what happens actually, when the goods are taken on board, on a board, it may be the case that the goods are defective. It may be the case that the packaging is defective. It may also be the case now in this particular purpose, if it is defective or if the packaging is defective, it would be expressively explained by the captain. It will be explicitly there would be expression by the captain itself that the goods were defective. But on the clean bill of lading, there is no superimposed clause or notation related to that the goods so put on board are basically defective or the packaging is defective. So this is best for the negotiation purposes. So this is best for the negotiation purposes on behalf of the bank. And further, it is related to the closed bill of lading. Now next one, it is related to the closed bill of lading, which basically bears the superimposed clause. So there is a special clause related to it that expressly explains that the goods so over the put on the board are defective. The goods so put on the board are defective, or the packaging is defective. There is expressly explained, that is expressly mentioned, there is a notation in the case of the closed bill of lading. So ship owner can disclaim his liability on loss to goods in such case of bill of lading. Okay, so that is not considered safe. In the case of clean bill of lading, there is no notation, there is no superimposed clause that explains that the goods are damaged or the packaging is damaged, so that is considered to be safe. And further, if it is closed bill of lading, it is expressly declares the defective conditions of the goods or packaging. In that particular case, the ship owner or the captain can disclaim his liability on loss of the goods, and that is not considered safe for the negotiation purposes. Okay. After that, it is long form bill of lading. In the case of long form bill of lading, all the terms and conditions of the carriage are given on the document itself. So it is a basically 3 or 4 page or 10 page pro forma in which each and every term and condition would be mentioned as on the main document only. And then it is a short form bill of lading also is there. Short form bill of lading is also there. In that particular case, the document related reference for the terms and condition is basically, it is referred to some particular document. Okay, so it is short form bill of lading. In that particular case, the terms and conditions are not mentioned in there, and further reference is given to some other particular document. Okay, and then it is a through bill of lading. So during the voyage, what do you mean by voyage? Let us suppose the goods are shipped by person B over here in USA, and these are to be shipped in New Delhi in India. So what would be the basically voyage in this particular case? That the goods would be shipped from USA port, and first of all these would be arrived at the Mumbai port over here, and over there in the Mumbai port the goods would be now shipped further to the New Delhi. Okay, so this particular destination, this particular route was covered by seaway. Let us suppose it was covered by seaway, and the next journey, it may be the case that they have go through the railway, it may be the case that they have the goods have been transported by roadway, it may be the case that the goods have been transported by the usage of the airway. Okay, so there are different modes of transportation, and further the voyage is starting from one point of destination to the end point of the destination. That is basically voyage. So through bill of lading, that covers the entire voyage covering several modes of transport. So each and every particular transport is covered in it. There is no guarantee of the carriers for safe carriage of goods in that particular case. There is no guarantee of the carriers for safe carriage of goods. What does it mean? That when the goods would be loaded or when the goods would be unloaded on the port itself, and when it will be loaded to some other mode of transport, say in that particular case, they do not take any guarantee for that particular purpose if there is any loss related to the goods. Okay, so that is also not considered safe. That is a through bill of lading. Then it is basically the short form bill of lading. I have already told you terms and conditions of the carriage are not printed on the bill of lading, but a reference to another document is given, which is containing the terms and conditions. Okay, and after that it is the straight bill of lading. Straight bill of lading is basically non-negotiable bill of lading. Other cases the bill of lading was negotiable, but in the case of straight bill of lading, it is non-negotiable bill of lading, and that is issued directly in the name of the consignee. It is directly issued in the name of the consignee, where the goods will be delivered to that particular person only. So the person B over here, let us suppose the case that the person B is dealing with the logistic company itself. In that particular case, person B over here is a consignor. person B over here is a consigner, and person A, who is the applicant, would be the consignee. And these particular documents, if received through the straight bill of lading, these documents will not be negotiable. So the negotiation can be done only with the consignee and not with any other party. Okay, so the documents would be given only and only can be given only and only to person A over here. Otherwise, the parties in between, likewise nominated bank, that who basically negotiated the documents over here, the bills are to be endorsed in the name of the bills are to be endorsed in the name of the opening bank, in the name of the issuing bank. That cannot be done in the case of the straight bill of lading, as it is non-negotiable bill of lading. Okay, so you just need to remember that straight bill of lading is non-negotiable bill of lading, and that is issued directly in the name of the consignee. It is issued directly in the name of the consignee. After that, it is the chartered party bill of lading. We left with one of the type of bill of lading, that is a chartered party bill of lading. So it is issued to the chartered party. It is issued to whom? It is issued to the chartered party. Basically, what happens actually, so this basically indicates what? It indicates a vessel, that is a ship. It indicates a vessel. In that particular case, you have loaded on board to some particular party who has basically rented out this particular space, and further you have loaded to this particular party and not to the captain or the logistic company itself. So logistic company is not the owner of the vessel, and we have basically loaded on board to that particular company who has rented out a space on this particular vessel. Okay, so that particular party would be called to be chartered party. That would be called to be chartered party who has rented out the space on the vessel over here, and further will be receiving this particular bill of lading from the chartered party, not from the vessel owner itself, not from the captain itself. We will be receiving it from the chartered party who has rented out the space on the vessel itself, on the ship itself. So that type of bill of lading is said to be the chartered party bill of lading. Okay.